This was painfully weird to watch.
And I want to make sure that I can just do better. And you know, we're all works in progress.
How do you do that?
Prayer.
With the prayer.
Guided meditations.
During an appearance on The View, Mark Wahlberg and Jonathan Roumie were talking about their faith, but Joy Behar kept mocking them, and eventually the producers had to cut the segment short.
Oh, already?
Oh, too quick.
Somebody was asking a lot of questions.
That's why today's video is not to be missed. So hit that subscribe button and let's jump right into it.
You know, but my job is to definitely continue to encourage other people to stand up for themselves and to stand up for the right thing and to make sure that people are trying to be the best versions of themselves.
At first, it might seem odd that Whoopi stepped in like that, but there's some history behind Joy and her views on Christianity. She was raised Catholic, but now identifies as agnostic, and she's pretty open about it. In one interview, she even said, "I never gave my daughter any religion because I felt that I was brainwashed." She also had moments on The View where she crossed the line, like when Mike Pence was a guest and she joked, "It's one thing to talk to Jesus, it's another thing when Jesus talks to you." That's called mental illness, which she later apologized for. So in that moment, Whoopi was likely trying to step in before things went off the rails yet again. But Joy didn't take the hint and kept pushing with her weird questions.
I'm constantly trying to do more and be better.
Yeah.
I think that for me is the key. But you know, if you're a work in progress like myself, it's always about like, first of all, I get on my hands and my knees, express my gratitude, and then I ask for the ability to know what the right thing is and to do it. I know I've been put in this position for a reason, and I want to fulfill the purpose that God has chosen for me, and I want to make sure that I can just do better. And you know, we're all works in progress.
How do you do that?
Prayer.
With the prayer.
Guided meditations.
What if you don't pray?
Now's a good time to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always have somebody pray for you.
Have someone pray for me?
Absolutely.
You do it.
I'll add you to my prayers. Absolutely.
Props to Mark and Jonathan for standing firm in their faith while the conversation was clearly being pushed in the awkward direction. You could notice that there was a sense of unease on the panel, which rarely happens, even when they're talking about the most sensitive political topics. But that may be intentional, because when a topic is framed as awkward or off limits, people are less likely to bring it up in everyday conversations. That's how narratives get shaped over time. But Jonathan didn't back down, and he kept talking about the importance of prayer, pointing out something interesting. More young men are starting to turn towards Jesus again after years of drifting away.
To Joy's question about prayer, what if you don't pray? Well, prayer can be as simple as just expressing gratitude. Like, thank you for allowing me to wake up today. Like,
I do that every morning.
Yeah.
And I also think more women are craving men who have a faith-based belief because it leads to more safety, in my opinion.
And I think that, you know, when men can kind of stand firm in truth and be grounded in their values and the things that they believe and stand for good, I think that's ultimately
Super hot?
Better
Yeah.
for
Yes, very much so.
Agreed, hot
Very
Jesus.
attractive.
Agreed.
Hold on a second. Let's not go down that road again.
Well, the last time Jonathan appeared on The View, they played a clip of him working out, and the reactions were all over the place. The hosts were calling him Hot Jesus and joking around, even though he's made it clear multiple times that he's just an actor, and people shouldn't confuse him with the real Jesus just because they saw him portray his life in a series. Fast forward to this interview, and you could see the split on the panel. Two of the co-hosts were taking shots at Christianity, while the others were at least acknowledging that what Mark and Roumie were saying had value. Meanwhile, Sunny stayed quiet despite openly claiming that she's a Catholic. It wasn't until the final moments that a solid question came up, and that's when producers weirdly cut the segment short.
Jonathan, you do such an excellent job playing Jesus in the series The Chosen. Sometimes people think you might actually be closer to him than you want to say. But because we've talked about it at the table. Yeah. You're an actor, and now you're acting in a new rom-com, which I saw, which is fantastic. How is it? I think I'm trying to ask you what it's like for you to be able to now go and express this other part of your acting skill.
You know, for me, before I ever did The Chosen, a lot of the small guest star roles that I did on TV were predominantly comedic. Like for instance, in Solo Mio, like it wasn't a faith-based film by any stretch, but I'm like, you know, I want to have a representation of who I am in the character somehow. And so I chose to have my character Neil wearing a crucifix, because you don't see that in movies or television shows generally ever. But people wear crucifixes.
Yeah.
But in the movies, for some reason, you only see them if it's a priest or if it's a pastor or a religious character. I'm like, no, let's just reflect real people that you can see walking down the street anywhere. So.
Oh, already?
Oh,
This is actually a solid question from Whoopi, and it goes deeper than people realize. First of all, when was the last time you saw an actor take on a serious faith-based role and still keep landing major studio projects? It's rare. You could probably count them on one hand. Second, Jonathan raised a valid point. You almost never see actors openly wearing crosses or expressing faith in mainstream movies anymore, except if it's in another installment of The Exorcist, and that's by design. The usual explanation is changing demographics or a more secular culture, but others see it differently. They argue that there's a clear push to make faith less visible or appealing. Again, props to Mark and Jonathan for standing their ground and not taking Joy's bait at generating a strong reaction from them.
Assalamu alaikum marka de sual. Marka ajde man tok no hal. Maidon de pap je lang mai se ko apna content change kar. मतलब अपनी लैंग्वेज चेंज कर जबान अपनी चेंज कर पीछे तक देशों सा अपनी टीम विच काम करने दा मौका पहली गल तो ये जेरे आदम की सरेकियां सपोर्ट कहनी हैं मैं को लगदा कोई भोलूं यार अल्लाह दे बंदे सरेक की एक निखड़ी हुई कौम है ये खड़ गई अपने नाल इन बिना के 84 घाट वात हुंदी है वला वड्डी गल है ने मिजाज कंके ना रलदन ये हर बंदे नाल ने मिजाज नहीं रलदे ते दूजी गल है हुन देखो इतना बंदे ग्रुप पे चैट व्हाट्सएप दे इतना बंदे मतलब मैं को फुल सपोर्ट मिलदी भी है बिया कोई मने न मने मैं ई पास सरेके नाल करा ये जेरे आदम ता सरेक की सपोर्ट नहीं करेंदे ये मेरे हिसाब है कूल मरन ठीक है अपना कंटेंट दिखा लो वला सपोर्ट ना करन वला तो गिला है इमे हुन इमे सामने सरेके दा गिला करना पे घर दा गिला करना दी गल है हिक्का गांव में बलो सरेकी हिको कुजन जिन्ने गिले करो बैठे वो चंगी गल कहनी ते उन्हें बस इने के अपना कंटेंट चेंज कर ते पीछे तक वो अपनी टीम में काम करने का मौका दे मैं ना बाबू इयो सरेकी कंटेंट रासी अच्छा प्रमोट ही सरेकी करने कोई सरेकी सरा कहे नहीं पबजी विच सारे जेरे सरेकी है नो उर्दू रखी फैन क्यों उनदे विच उर्दू विच आदन भी सपोर्ट मिलदी है तो उनदे बाद सारी सरेकी दी ज़बान तो उन्हें उतो तो वेंदी है एक जवान आ वो बिल्ला चावे ना उनदे कुकड़ी पीछे एक दिन बिल्ले को पकड़ के कुकड़ी मार मार उनदे आगे उछलेंदा रह गया हां कि खा ओ किथा खंदा सारे आखन वाला दा बंदा वो नहीं खंदा और छोटे बिल्ले को ना कि मैं भी चौथा कूड़ा करे सा जिडो फिरदा कुकड़ कोई ना कोई मार स्टेना मैं ने को इमे कूड़ा करने पबजी वाले को कंटेंट की सरेकी रखसा इने के काम ही गिनसा इने दा पीवी काम देसी हां अच्छा सरेकी हिसाब विच वेसू सब उर्दू मुर्दू चास नहीं जंदी अस्सलाम वालेकुम मरका दे सुहाल मरका ajde man tok no हाल मैडम दे पबजी लैंग मैं से को अपना कंटेंट चेंज कर मतलब अपनी लैंग्वेज चेंज कर जबान अपनी चेंज कर पीछे तक देशों सा अपनी टीम विच काम करने का मौका पहली गल तो ये जेरे आदम की सरेकियां सपोर्ट कहनी हैं मैं को लगदा कोई भोलूं यार अल्लाह दे बंदे सरेक की एक निखड़ी हुई कौम है ये खड़ गई अपने नाल इन बिना के 84 घाट वात हुंदी है वला वड्डी गल है ने मिजाज कंके ना रलदन ये हर बंदे नाल ने मिजाज नहीं रलदे ते दूजी गल है हुन देखो इतना बंदे ग्रुप पे चैट व्हाट्सएप दे इतना बंदे मतलब मैं को फुल सपोर्ट मिलदी भी है बिया कोई मने न मने मैं ई पास सरेके नाल करा ये जेरे आदम ता सरेक की सपोर्ट नहीं करेंदे ये मेरे हिसाब है कूल मरन ठीक है अपना कंटेंट दिखा लो वला सपोर्ट ना करन वला तो गिला है इमे हुन इमे सामने सरेके दा गिला करना पे घर दा गिला करना दी गल है हिक्का गांव में बलो सरेकी हिको कुजन जिन्ने गिले करो बैठे वो चंगी गल कहनी ते उन्हें बस इने के अपना कंटेंट चेंज कर ते पीछे तक वो अपनी टीम में काम करने का मौका दे मैं ना बाबू इयो सरेकी कंटेंट रासी अच्छा प्रमोट ही सरेकी करने कोई सरेकी सरा कहे नहीं पबजी विच सारे जेरे सरेकी है नो उर्दू रखी फैन क्यों उनदे विच उर्दू विच आदन भी सपोर्ट मिलदी है ते उनदे बाद सारी सराइकी दी ज़बान तो उन्हें उर्दू तो वेंदी है एक जवान आ वो बिल्ला चावेंदा उनदे कुकड़ी पीछे एक दिन बिल्ले को पकड़ के कुकड़ी मार मार उनदे अगू उछलेंदा रह गया हाँ कि खा ओ किथा खंदा सारे आखन वाला दा बंदा वो नहीं खंदा और छोटे बिल्ले को ना कि मैं भी चौथा कूड़ा करे सा जिडो फिरदा कुकड़ कोई ना कोई मार स्टेंदा मैं इन्हें को इमे कूड़ा करने पबजी वाले को कंटेंट की सराइकी रखसा इन्हें के काम ही गिनसा इन्हें दा पीवी काम देसी हाँ असा सराइकी हिसाब विच वेसू सब उर्दू मुर्दू चास नहीं देंदी